All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Tellor Dev Call, August 8th. Yeah, so cool day today. Today, the Treasuries supposed to get unlocked. Don't know what time that is. We're going to check to make sure that the front end works for you guys. And then you can go pull them out. This is sort of the final Treasury. So it is what it is. But yeah, I think from the time that people got into the Treasury with Spuddy and we checked, it was like $10. So if you were in the Treasury the whole time, you tripled your money just holding. So there's no way you did bad sitting in the Treasury, and then you get a little 5% bump. Other things as far as what we're doing this week. So if you guys saw last week, I think somebody posted, it's up on the YouTube video, there's how to make a dynamic NFT video. I did that. There's some things that we already figured out that we want to update. But it's a cool video. The repo's up on our GitHub. You can go make a dynamic NFT. We're going to figure out how to kind of expand that. And there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with NFTs and oracles. So if you're into NFTs, that could be something you guys might want to check out. As far as this week, so contracts are still off at Audit. We got some comments back, some nothing major, just some quick fixes. So we'll be doing some of that. And I'm gonna kind of be working on an article here, which should be fun. And then as well working with the auditor. So Tally, how you doing?
Hey, good. I was finishing up pulse chain support. It's implemented in Telliot Core. And now the liquid loans, they gave me a GraphQL API endpoint. It's very similar to the Uniswap price source, but I'm just testing it. I can't seem to connect to it through Python.
Don't try too hard. Just, hit them up if it's breaking.
Oh yeah, I should do that. Yeah, it's just weird. Like it's one of those things where like you can read it if you use the browser, but then if you use Python, it gives you a 404.
Huh.
You're probably just like formatting the string wrong. So there's another example in the Diva Updates branch. There's like an PR for it, and if you go to I think pools.py or something, just search in there for where it makes the subgraph query. You can see how to like format them.
Okay, yeah, I was referring to the Uniswap one, but did you have to add
another example? Can you you can curl it to it and
yeah,
it works fine. Like in the command line, Telly.
Yeah. Oh, in the command. I haven't tried it actually. I should though.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I added docs for the build feed flag.
Cool.
Yeah. And I did some work on the disputable values monitor.
Nice. On that topic of pulse chain, and then we were also talking, Spuddy, Mike and I, earlier this morning on the proof of work Tellor, or proof of work Ethereum. So pulse chain is forking the whole Ethereum state. ETH is going to, we're guessing they're going to merge here sometime soon. And there's a lot of speculation. Some exchanges are already saying that they will support a proof of work fork. For anyone watching this, spread the information. The Tellor token will not be, unless for some unknown reason it becomes the majority chain. It's most likely just a retail trap. Don't buy the Tellor token on the proof of work chain. We're on board with proof of stake. If somebody tries to sell you a Tellor token on the proof of work chain, say no. So just letting you guys know. Same with pulse chain. Not supporting the token over there as well on the fork. We'll bridge the official token over if we need to. Same with proof of work Ethereum. If it actually does get support and is long lived and people need oracles, we'll bridge a token and deploy new contracts. So cool. Akram.
Good morning. Finished up a PR that I was working on last Friday with the string query manual response. Found a bug in the tip listener where we were doing, I guess, fee or queries that are not in the catalog. So fix that. Working on finishing the rest of the query types manual sources, and then after that, the Oracle address. There's one thing as far as a function that doesn't exist, I guess, in a sample contract. I don't know, maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. As far as getting the staker info, the way Telliot works is you basically get information from, you're reading from the Oracle directly versus reading through the sample contract.
So you can edit the sample contract all you want. So if you want to just add that function in and do it right, feel free.
So I can have the signatures that I need then for Telliot and just add them to the sample contract.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes it easier. Okay.
Yeah, no, some places it might be easier to do it on Telliot. Some places it might be easier to do it on the sample contract.
Okay.
Take your pick.
Okay, sounds good. And that's it. That's all I got.
Cool. Spuddy, you need anything?
Nope. I made a few GitHub issues because I got errors in Telliot, but I don't know if it's
Disputable stuff up and running
at the moment.
at the moment, and then you did some tipping last week, right? And it worked semi as expected.
I don't think Telliot picked up on it, but I'm gonna try to claim, see if there's anything there.
Okay, so yeah, keep testing them out. So, and then same with, have we tested disputes recently, or?
I gotta do another one.
Okay, we gotta do another one, and then make sure you get pinged on the monitor that like I need to go submit a dispute. So let us know. All right, Tim.
Yeah, so we have a script now that calculates toxicity for the 100 finance protocol. And now it looks like they want us to add like all of the lending protocols on Polygon, or at least all of them that support a certain set of tokens. So yeah, now I'll be adding on some more
How many is
lending
it?
protocols. You know, they just said all of the protocols that support those tokens.
I would ask them specifically which ones.
Okay.
And then also, yeah, and since it might be a lot of work on our end, like I know we can do it and we can take the time to do it. But also see if those tokens who want into OVIX will also do it. You know, they might be flush with dev time, so feel free to pass it off. Like give them the example of this is what I need you guys to do, or what you know, like send them like what would make your life easier. Like I need to know what functions to call here and here, and
that's a big one. Okay.
Yeah. So feel free to pass off a little bit of work to them.
Sure. Okay.
Cool. Owen.
Hey, so yeah, last Friday, finished up like the new command for decoding submitted values and query data. So that's been kind of nice using that. Today I fixed a couple bugs in the Diva reporter. And I'm gonna look at this reporting. So Spuddy's had some reporters try to report while they're in time lock. So I'm just gonna try to reproduce that and see what's going on there.
Cool.
Thanks.
Nice. And last but not least, Ryan.
Yeah, just diving into the Treasuries page, make sure that's flowing nicely since we have the release time today. It was at 2:16 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so for questions, I think Brandon said we don't have any, but we do have, Crossy had asked, whenever Tellor 360 goes live, if people are running, say, non-Telliot clients, what do they need to do to upgrade? and what's the difference in the reward structure. So what do they need to do to upgrade? Basically, hopefully nothing. If you're, it should be the same structure as reporting on Polygon now. So if you're not familiar with reporting on Polygon, the difference is that one address can basically hold multiple stakes, and then the token address is not the same as the staking address. Those are the big differences, right? I think so. There's a few caveats that you'll have to kind of adjust for, but if you want, you can go now, like go test on Mumbai or Matic and make sure it works, and then it should just keep working. Like you just switch it over to mainnet and put in the right addresses, and that should work just fine. So as far as how the rewards are changing, so time-based rewards will still be there. The difference is that it's not coming directly from the token contract. We need to pass the time-based rewards over to the Oracle contract. There's a function that you can run. I think it's like, what is it, like mint to Oracle contract or something like that. It slowly releases tokens. So 4,000 tokens a month fills up in the token contract, and anybody can call this function to send it over to the Oracle contract, where it will then be time-based rewards. So the way that we envision it, I'm guessing as soon as the time-based rewards are depleted over in the Oracle contract, somebody will go call mint to Oracle contract, and it'll send them over there for time-based rewards. That's, yeah. That'll probably be how it works. Curious to see. But overall, the amount of tokens emitted, everything like that is the same. So that'll be it. And then had a fun discussion. If we want to play, you guys can go look. I was tweeting about it today. We can quiz you guys as a team as far as, I'll play devil's advocate. Why wouldn't L1, so if there is this new world where you have every app or application, say Diva or Liquidity, everyone has their own chain. Why wouldn't they just make the validators of that chain pass in their Oracle needs? And wouldn't this invalidate the need for oracles like Chainlink or Tellor? This was a question posed on Twitter. It's a good one. It's a super good one. Anybody have thoughts?
Why would they pass in their, or what? Say that part again.
So you could just have the validators of the chain. So like the miners themselves be the Oracle. If you're, it's a, let's say Diva protocol, or, you know, let's say Liquidity for ETH said, like, we're going to be our own chain. That's all we want to put on this chain. We're going to just have the miners pass in the ETH US dollar price.
Why would they?
I mean, you could say Oracle data has slower finality than the rest of the chain.
So wait,
Things are a little more subjective.
It's a good one.
This data we're reporting.
are the validators required to submit Oracle data to get rewards
Yeah.
for being a validator?
Yep.
Okay.
So this was an idea that people had thrown out for ETH originally, whenever ETH was being proposed, Ethereum was being proposed, and people have thrown out in the past. Why doesn't Ethereum just provide an ETH US dollar price?
I'm trying to think if there's a conflict of interest at all.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. I think it's going to come up more because, so Cosmos, for instance, you can do that. So like some Cosmos chains, like for instance, Terra, or some of them will have oracles built into the validation process. I think the main argument that you can say is obviously, like, if you're a generic L1, you're not going to want to do this, like, because then you have to, which oracle prices do you provide? How do you decide which ones you do? That's why, like, most of the time right now, we just have these generic L1s.
How do you update it?
It's tough, yeah. So, well, I mean, it's the same problem for us, but yeah, like you would just handle it on the validator side.
Okay.
So the other piece, I think, would be, and I think there is a future for that. I think in a lot of ways, but
What?
yeah.
Isn't it a bad idea? Because if an API goes down and the validators can't provide Oracle data, they wouldn't, they can't also, the blockchain would shut down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things, like there's a lot certain pieces you could do it for maybe, but some of them it's going to be really, really hard. I think that's a valid argument as well. You're sort of, how do you pick which APIs are included? Is that something you want to do with your validator set?
It's detrimental to the security of the blockchain.
Sure.
And it might be great for Oracle security, but for the blockchain, it's bad.
Well, I mean, but it could be like if your whole chain was liquidity, for instance, if the Oracle goes bad, you're screwed anyway.
Yeah.
Which would be the argument. I think in a lot of ways, like it could, but the other thing too, like oracles as well are bridges. So is there a limit to a number of bridges that you do? So like Near, for instance, their validators provide the Rainbow Bridge. So that's a Near ETH bridge that's validated by the Near validators, which is great. So it's one of the perfect bridges out there, because basically like you need to corrupt Near's validators to corrupt the bridge. But the problem is that you can't do that with every chain. You can't do that with every price. There are some subjectivity issues between there, depending on what value it is. I think another sort of reason that to be bullish on oracles would be just, I'm not super bullish on there being project specific chains.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the biggest flaw in the thesis right there. I think like maybe in the future you would see.
Clearly bridges are weak links.
I know we've been approached by Cosmos and Polkadot to be like, oh, come run your own chain. And to me, that's like a complete non-starter. Like even as an Oracle with like a decent market cap, it's like, I don't want to worry about validator sets. I don't want to have to worry about maintaining a whole chain. Like that seems really difficult. And not something I'm too into. And I think a lot of projects, until you get really big, it's a giant lift to do your own chain. The future that I see, like if it does go chain specific, would be like Polygon just has like, it's like a service on top of Polygon, but it's like very, specific to like, they're more of like the AWS of crypto, and you just sort of rent the specific chain from them, if you will. And I could see that, especially if like it's all rolled up to Ethereum. So it's like, it doesn't matter if your sequencer or validators are centralized. I don't know. Thoughts? Anyway, it was an interesting one. Something for you guys to think about. Yeah. So I'm still bullish on oracles, obviously, but in a distant future where apps have their own specific chains, you could see something where maybe like a Polygon or something like that, which I think would actually be the more detrimental thing to Oracle providers like us or Chainlink, would be like if Polygon themselves was like, we're going to be in the Oracle space.
But then that would be it would be a problem for lots of apps running on Polygon if the APIs
For sure
get broke.
Well, I mean, they would just do it in a centralized manner. Like if Polygon was like, we're going to do Chainlink's model. And we're going to natively support all oracles on Polygon and rollups and stuff. And that would be like, oh man. And it could work. I think another issue too, which we didn't talk about, is like regulatory issues. So like if you have any sort of centralization in your validator set and you're the Oracle, like you sort of look like you're custodying people's money and or the Oracle. That looks a whole lot like a futures exchange or some sort of financial service provider, which would probably not fly. So
kind of expensive to self-maintain an Oracle too, to that scale.
For sure.
Yeah, like if you try to mock Chainlink in your Polygon, like you have to hire so many people to like maintain it when there's a pre-existing service that will do it.
And then
It's not fun to duplicate it infrastructurally.
there would have to be an incentive to do that. You know what I mean? Like Chainlink did a big ICO and launched a token and made a whole bunch.
Well, I mean, Polygon theoretically has enough money, I think.
Like they have enough money, but would it be profitable? I don't know.
No, I mean, like, I think what you could do is like maybe if, like, I mean, Chainlink, I don't think is profitable. Like, I don't think Chainlink is profitable in any sense of the word. Like, you know, they just make money off of their tokens. So like if Polygon wanted to pump their token a whole lot, they could just say like, so we're going to go after Chainlink and steal your narrative by being, you know, we have a bigger market cap than you. We have a better, you know, we can do this better than you. And then you could also just kick Chainlink off of Polygon. You could kick Chainlink off of any of your apps and do it that way. I don't know if they would do that, but, you know, it would obviously be like, you know, a nightmare for them in terms of claiming any sort of decentralization, but who knows?
They'd probably be more happy to let Chainlink handle that. Like you guys worry about that Oracle stuff.
For sure.
It's tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially like, you know, Chainlink hands people free price feeds right now. Like, and by handing people free price feeds, Chainlink pays money to Polygon validators. So it's like a win-win for Polygon as is. Like you want people to come on there to give free price feeds. They're paying gas. So anyway, all right, fun discussion. So we're off. Talk to you guys next week.